Welcome back to Motive for Money. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button to stay updated with our latest content. Today, we're diving into a topic that resonates with many of us, the challenges of navigating the job market. In this video, you'll hear personal stories from individuals about their struggles and experiences in finding employment. We'll also share some valuable tips from recruiters and job search coaches to help you in your job search journey. Whether you're actively looking for a job or just curious about the current job market, this video has something for you. Let's get started and hear what people have to say.
Just get a job, they scream. And even though I have multiple back problems, including spondylolisthesis, grade 2, degenerative disc disease, spinal stenosis, and mild scoliosis, and I haven't worked a retail job since 2009. I have been applying for retail jobs because I can't get any writing work, and neither can anybody else right now. Things are crazy. And even though it's been a while, I know how to do retail work. I worked at Macy's, I worked at Dillard's, I've worked a bunch of places, and I thought, they are always hiring in October because they need people urgently through the end of the year and into January with all the returns and everything. Surely someone will hire me. Apply, apply, apply. I finally got a bite from Home Goods, which is a TJ Maxx owned company. They're a cool company. They sell cool stuff. They sell to people like me who love like home decor and blankets and being cozy and stuff like that. So fine. So the guy calls me, asks me a little bit about my background, wants to set up an interview for me to come in. Cool. And I tell him when I'm available, and then I explain. I am only available to work every other week. I have custody of my child on alternating weeks, but I'm completely available on the alternating weeks. And he's like, oh, I think we can work with that. So he sets me up for an interview. Then he called to change the time. Then he called a second time to change the time, which I get it. Retail's crazy. I've worked it before. I know. I was flexible, and my interview was today at 2 o'clock. So I got all dressed, put on a real bra, put on nice clothes, put on makeup, did my hair, researched the company, came up with some specific ideas and things that I would talk about during the interview, as well as refresh my memory about things that I did at past retail jobs. So I was prepared. I arrived there early, 10 minutes before my interview was supposed to start, and I came in. And as the gentleman suggested who set up the interview, I approached the first salesperson I saw and I said, I'm here for an interview. Where should I go? And she said, oh, good, because we really need you. Because they're super busy and overworked like everybody in retail right now, right? So she goes and gets the manager on duty who says, who are you again? And I tell her my name. She's like, okay, well, you could just go to the back by the restroom sign and I'll be back there in a second. Doesn't introduce herself, nothing. So then she comes back, walks me back to the interview room, still doesn't introduce herself, asks me to confirm my name so she can check it off on the calendar, and then tells a coworker that she's going to be in an interview for a little bit. She wants to go over my background a little bit and why I'm looking for work. So I explain, I'm a writer. These are the kinds of things I write. Right now, work is really slow. I'm looking to supplement my income. And I have a lot of retail experience, and I thought this would be a good place to work and bring in some money. She asked me to describe my experience, so I went through everything. I mean, I sold a lot of different stuff at Macy's. I worked on the entire second floor, so I've sold everything. And I also worked at Dillard's, and I worked at another store called Ups and Downs, and I worked at a boutique, and I described all that stuff. And then she's like, well, when are you available? And I said, well, that's the thing. Like I told the guy who set up the interview, I can only work every other week. Oh, she said. And I'm just like, here we go. And she's looking at the computer and she's like, I don't see how that's going to work for us. And I'm like, okay, well, I did tell the guy on the phone that that was my availability because I didn't want to waste your time or mine if that's not going to work. And she's like, yeah, I don't even know how I would put that into the computer. I mean, then I would have to fill up the other time slots on the weeks you can't work with other people. Isn't that what retail scheduling is? You fill up the empty time slots with people who are available. Obviously, according to the lady that I talked to when I came in, they need some people to help. Wouldn't you rather have help some of the time instead of no help at all because you're waiting for the perfect unicorn candidate who doesn't have anything else to do except be available to work whenever you want, open to close any day of the year? I mean, wouldn't you rather relieve the burden a little bit and then look for some other people that could also relieve that burden a little bit and give a bunch of people some days off and rotate people so they're not overworked and burned out? This is happening everywhere. A friend of mine has been looking for a job like this for months. He interviewed with a local grocery and was this close to getting the job until he told them that he couldn't work on Sundays because he has church gigs and sometimes some other stuff that he has to do on Sundays. And the manager was literally like, well, if you don't work on Sundays, that's not fair to the other employees, because then we'll have to schedule someone else to work on Sundays. That's literally how it works. All these companies that have the help wanted, we're dying, we can't find anybody. This is why. They want perfect people who are available 24 hours a day to be a slave to the company. Otherwise, no job for you. And just before I get a bunch of nasty comments and have to block a bunch of people, I can only work every other week because that is how my custody arrangement is. I have my child every other week, and he's not going to sit home alone while I'm at work. And I have to drop him off at school and pick him up because he goes to school in a different city, and I don't have any other way to get him there or home. And I'm already missing half of his childhood because I only see him every other.
I hate to be the person to talk about the job market, but right now I need to talk about the job market. So I've been on a job hunt now for about 4 months. I'm looking for better pay, more flexibility, work from home, things like that. Simple, right? I applied to a job back in late December and they got back to me early January. I actually had a referral for this job. They let me know that they were actually looking to fill this job for March 12th, which is great, okay. So towards the later end of January, I had my first round call. It went great. Made it to the second round. The second round went great. He gave me tips to make it for the third round and what they were going to be looking for. So I successfully make it to the final round interview. It's a panel mock call. They gave me 18 slides to prepare, one whole week. I prepared. I called friends to help me review. I presented to them. They said, these are some things that you need to add. I'm like, okay, great. I do the presentation. Everything's going great. They gave me some critiques at the end, but it wasn't anything that was too alarming. Like, just really red flags. Like, I know I didn't get it based on what they were saying. So they let me know, oh, we're going to reach out to you sometime next week. Great. Next week comes. Yesterday was Monday. I didn't expect anything like Monday just because I'm like, it's the beginning of the work week. So I'm thinking Tuesday. Tuesday, I'm by my phone like all day. I'm picking up all my phone calls and just basically hoping that I get a call or something. Didn't get anything. And I was still hesitant to check my email. I decided to check LinkedIn. And I don't know why I decided to check LinkedIn, but that was probably the best thing I could have did to find out this information. The guy that was on the panel basically liked someone's post about them getting the position that I interviewed for. And at first I was in denial. I was like, oh, I know that they're filling multiple seats for the same position. So I'm still hopeful. Something tells me, go check your email. Mind you, I had that final round interview Thursday last week. Why did they send me the email saying that I didn't get the role the very next day, Friday afternoon? So now I'm back at square one. And it's just so discouraging because I legitimately thought that I had this one in the bag. I've been interviewing for almost a whole month and a half. Did a presentation. This whole process has just been very defeating. And I really don't even have advice to say to anybody that's out there in the job market because there's so much advice out there and I've utilized it all and I still cannot secure something. And it's crazy.
Hearing the story of a woman who normally writes for a living but can't find writing gigs really struck a chord with me. It's tough out there. She even applied for a retail job to make ends meet. Balancing work with custody of her child every other week is a challenge many parents face. When she explained her situation to the interviewer, she was told that her availability would make scheduling difficult, and she didn't get the job. It's heartbreaking to see someone who's willing to work being turned away because their personal circumstances don't fit into a rigid work schedule. It makes you think about how we can make the job market more flexible and inclusive for parents and caregivers. Then there's the man who's been job hunting for 4 months. He went through an exhaustive interview process with 4 rounds, even preparing a presentation as part of it. Waiting for that call must have been nerve-wracking. To add salt to the wound, He found out on LinkedIn that someone else had been hired for the position before he received the official rejection email. The amount of effort and hope he put into the process, only to be let down, is something many of us can relate to. It highlights the emotional toll that job searching can take, especially when you invest so much into a potential opportunity. These stories reflect the harsh realities of today's job market. They remind us of the need for empathy and understanding in the hiring process. Employers should consider the unique situations of applicants and the dedication they show despite their challenges. For job seekers, it's important to remember that rejection doesn't define your worth or capabilities. Keep pushing forward and take each experience as a step closer to finding the right fit. Let's move on to our next clips.
Companies are ghosting employees. Companies are putting out jobs that they had no intentions of ever hiring for, or even better, they send you through the hiring and interview process just for them never to call you back. I see countless videos and I've heard countless stories of I put in for hundreds of jobs, thousands of jobs. Even one video that went viral where a lady put in for 100,000 jobs. But here's the thing that blows people's minds when I tell them this. We're in a job market where a lot of jobs are the same, but a lot of applicants are the same too. On the application, it says, hey, I need X, Y, and Z. Company's looking for X, Y, and Z. You have X, Y, and Z. You, and so does everybody else applying for that job. What sets you apart? Oh, I went on a website, I filled out an application, and I'm waiting to hear back. Okay. That's like putting a message in a bottle and hoping that it gets found. And because of that, companies are going to be super picky on who they're trying to get for their company. Have a plethora of candidates that all have the same qualifications. You can be picky. In the corporate world, picky is not always a good thing. Does not always mean that your company is going to go for the best qualified candidate. It means that they might look at whoever's willing to do it the cheapest. Ever see those jobs and you're like, who is willing to do that for that amount of money? Somebody is. And the company's going to wait until they find somebody who is. I am no expert. I'm just a walking HR violation. And I have learned in my experience, you have to look at an interview as a two-way street. Not only is it the company's time to learn about you, it's your time to learn about the company. And a lot of the times where I've sat in on interviews and interviewed people for positions, I've gone, wow, you really don't know what we do here. You look great on paper, but you didn't do your homework. If you want to work for a company that is competitive, then you have to be competitive. When they ask you that horrible interview question of, well, why do you want to work here? Play the Uno reverse card and make them sell the company to you. Why should I want to work here? What are the benefits of working here and not at your competition? You've seen my resume and you're aware of my skill set, so how can the company use my skill set to better the company, and not only that, better myself? I tell people this all the time. You're an independent contractor. You work in the business of you. So, what is the benefit for you? It's a weird market out there, and nobody's denying that the system's not broken. But if you're waiting on the system to fix itself, you're only failing yourself. You see it all the time. Nobody wants to work and nobody wants to hire. You have to be in the business of you. Once you do land that job, don't stop looking for another job. Keep irons in the fire all the time. You can take whatever I say with a grain of sand.
I'm just going to do this long form. And so, I just met with a black woman who gave me some really nice career advice. And it was a great conversation. As far as, you need to find your passion, you need to find this. I'm like, I know my passion. I just can't be paid from it, and the thing was, like, I came from fashion design. I did fashion design since 2012. And I'm still doing freelancing, right? But I'm like, at this point, I just need to pay my bills, right? I can't get hired in retail. I can't get hired in customer service. I can't get hired in, the most basic shit. Not with my resume. Not with my resume. And not even if I redo my resume. I'm like, I have a retail resume, but I haven't worked retail since 2015. I'm like, what am I supposed to do when I have bills to pay? This is so frustrating. And I get, like, her conversation was very helpful about, career and goals and reshaping your life. And I get that, but I am exhausted. I am exhausted with going on 2-round interviews at places. I am exhausted with trying to convince people that I can do whatever job they put in front of me. I am exhausted. I don't have to be passionate about, you know, whatever role that I'm going towards, or even 100% passionate about. Like I've applied for a lot of consumer focused, or I guess customer service focused jobs, but maybe a little bit higher up. But like one job just kept trying to convince me how boring it was on the second round interview that they made me come in for. Like, oh, it's boring. It's so boring. And I'm like, fashion is not always fun. I just want a job. Like, I can write a report. I can put together a PowerPoint. I can talk to people. I can motivate people. I can come up with a bunch of different ideas. I don't want to have to hustle every damn time. I want the security of having, just being able to pay my mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. You want somebody who is going to be here. Like, girl, I just want security. I'm going to do whatever the fuck you need me to do. And trying to convince people that I can do basic things with 13 years of fucking fashion design on my resume is hard as shit. I am getting very frustrated. And like, the only other option is freelancing. But then you have to hunt down people and find more freelance gigs to be consistent. And so I'm fucking tired. I'm tired. I probably should call my sisters and have this conversation, and I will. But just know a bitch is tired. I'm tired.
It's sobering to hear the reality faced by many job seekers today. One man pointed out that applying for hundreds of jobs often leads nowhere because some companies post positions they never intend to fill. And for the real openings, so many qualified candidates apply that hiring managers can afford to be extremely selective. He likened submitting an online application to putting a message in a bottle, which really captures the frustration and uncertainty of the process. This environment often leads to job seekers being lowballed into accepting lower wages than they deserve. His advice to turn the tables during an interview by asking, "Why should I work here instead of your competitor?" is a powerful reminder that job seekers should know their worth and seek out employers who value them. Another story that really hit home was from a woman who has been working in fashion design since 2012 but can't find a job in her field anymore. Not only is she struggling to find a job in fashion, but she also can't even secure a retail position despite numerous interviews. She shared that freelancing has become the only viable option for her, which means constantly hunting for gigs. The instability and relentless search for work can be incredibly draining. These stories highlight the harsh realities of the current job market. They reveal a system that often feels stacked against job seekers, where persistence and resilience are required in spades. It's a reminder of the importance of advocating for fair treatment and not settling for less than what you're worth. For those of us navigating these challenges, it's crucial to stay informed, stay motivated, and support one another through the journey.
Do not leave your job right now. I don't know if they told y'all, but it's crazy out here. I quit my job.
Yo, y'all remember that saying, oh, if you hate your job, then quit? Like, that saying does not exist anymore. No funny. Because it is taking years. It's taking decades just for some, well, not decades, but it's taking people a very long time just to find another job. It never used to be like this. Even when I was working in retail, if I quit my job, within at least 6 months, I was able to find another job. Like, people really, we now have to work jobs that we hate because we have to pay our bills. Like, no funny shit. Now it's taking people a year, 2 years just to find another form of employment. And these people have master degrees, bachelor degrees, and it's taking them a very long time to find a job. Why? Like, this is crazy. Like, why is the job market so ass right now? Like, why everything is just like the economy is just terrible. Like, what the fuck is going on?
These companies are saying that they're urgently hiring, but yet they're
Actually, no, they're not rejecting everyone. They're simply not hiring. I hate to tell you this, but these jobs don't exist. I'm a tech recruiter, and I get ghosted by my company and other agencies we work for in positions we try to fill 90% of the time. I'll have people get first round, second round, third round interviews, even to the point where, yeah, they're going to figure out the financials and send them a job offer. That doesn't happen. There is no offer. All they do is they're trying to make it look like they're busy and it looks like they're hiring. And then for whatever reason at the end of the road, oh, it doesn't work out. I am literally being told now to don't worry about what hires I get, just worry about hitting my numbers. So that means all they care about is me submitting resumes and that's it. There's definitely something political going on that they're not disclosing on why they are doing this to begin with, but yeah, it's a load of bullshit. Unless you're a rock star and you agree to get underpaid 20 grand, you're not getting an offer.
One piece of advice that really stands out is from a woman who reminds us to not quit our jobs, even if we hate them, until we have another one lined up. This is especially crucial in today's tough job market. It's startling to hear that even people with advanced degrees are struggling to find employment. It really underscores how challenging it can be out there and how important it is to maintain some financial stability while searching for a better opportunity. Then, there's the tech recruiter who sheds light on a frustrating truth. Many job postings are for positions that don't actually exist. This explains why some jobs never get filled despite rounds of interviews. He highlights that unless you are an above-average candidate willing to accept a lower salary, you are unlikely to receive an offer. This reality check is disheartening but essential for understanding the current job market dynamics. It really makes you think about the importance of standing out and being strategic in your job search.
I was on the phone yesterday with a client who said, JT, in my entire life, I have never, ever, ever had a problem getting a job interview. 2 years ago, they were calling me, reaching out to me. My phone was ringing off the hook. Now, when I've been laid off and I'm looking for a job, I can't get a job interview. And this is a very high-level, successful individual. And I sat him down, virtually, of course, and said, it's not your fault. The way that you are looking for work is the reason you are not getting a job interview. And let me break that down for you. We are in what is the worst job market I've seen in 20 years as a job search career coach, even worse than the 2008 recession. And the reason for that is the sheer volume of people looking for work. Don't let the unemployment rate of 3.9% fool you. That does not include all of the people that are underemployed, meaning people who are working side hustles, gigs, part-time, or are just in jobs that are lower than what they want. As a result, so many people are applying to jobs. I mentioned earlier this week, I talked to a VP at a company last week. He had 3,000 applicants for a job in 48 hours. He had to shut it down. So when you apply online, it's gridlock. Think about being in a traffic jam. Doesn't matter if you're the Lamborghini or the Hyundai, you're not getting through. And so I said to him, you applying online is a waste of your time. You need to be able to get a job interview without applying online. And the way you do that is through back channeling. Back channeling is just like it sounds, a different channel, a different road, a different path. And the reason it works so well is that most people won't bother to do it. Or if they do it, they're only going to do it for jobs they really care about. And this is how we diminish the number of people who just apply to random jobs. See, the online system's broken. We made it too easy. It's like the easy apply button so that people just apply for everything.
The insights from the job search career coach are particularly eye-opening. She pointed out that the often cited unemployment rate of 3.5% is misleading because it doesn't account for the underemployed, those who have jobs but are still seeking suitable employment. This is a significant issue that isn't reflected in the official statistics. Her example of a company receiving 3,000 applications within just 48 hours is staggering and really puts things into perspective. It underscores the immense competition in the job market. She also mentioned that applying online is often a waste of time, which is a harsh reality for many of us who have spent hours tailoring resumes and cover letters for online applications. It's a call to rethink our job search strategies and seek out more effective ways to connect with potential employers. Thank you for watching. These stories and insights remind us of the complexities and challenges of the job market today. It's not easy, but knowing we're not alone in this struggle can make a difference. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Motive for Money. Your support helps us continue to bring you valuable content. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might be featured in a future video. For more tips, resources, and to stay updated, visit our website at motiveformoney.com. Until next time, stay motivated and keep pushing forward.